On February 5th, 1972, Bob Douglas was the first African American coach inducted into the Basketball Hall of Fame. But what he did for the basketball world transcended just his coaching abilities. Let's dive into Bob Douglas today on Daily Sports History. Welcome to Daily Sports History. I'm Ethan Reese, your guide to a rapid deep dive into sports history every day. Bob Douglas is known as the father of black professional basketball. The main reason for this moniker is because he founded the New York Renaissance basketball team, and he owned and coached them from 1923 to 1949. During that span, the team amassed an amazing 2,318 wins versus only 381 losses. It included an 88-game winning streak during the 32 season. There's two talents that really set Douglas apart. And it was his evaluation of talent and him being a shrewd businessman. Douglas took advantage of the limited opportunities that African Americans had in the sport at the time. When he was 25, he created two amateur basketball teams in Harlem, the Spartan Braves and the Spartan Hornets, from 1919 to 1923. The two teams competed against other New York teams. However, because he wasn't allowed to retain players who received money from other sports, Douglas decided to create a professional team. In 1923, he made arrangements with the owners of the Harlem Renaissance Casino to put together a group of players called the Renaissance. In return for publicizing the casino, which had opened a year earlier, the team practiced and played home games at the venue. A perfect night of entertainment for many back then was watching championship caliber basketball and dancing without leaving the premises. They became one of the most famous basketball teams of the era, and many say it was the greatest team at the time, mainly made up of players from New York and Philadelphia, and they would even barnstorm around the country, meaning they would go to different venues across the country touring, similar to the Harlem Globetrotters today, and even faced off against the Harlem Globetrotters multiple times. But because of the Jim Crow laws at the time, they were limited in where they could go, where they could eat, and even where they could sleep, sometimes having to sleep on buses. But they would still win their games. And during the 32 season, when they had won 88 consecutive games, had buzz that was going around the country. And while they traveled, the teams they were playing would help them out by following them and making sure they had no issues when they would stop at a gas station or restaurant, showing that they were with them and they would not be harassed while on the road. And they were famous for how much they embraced each other before the game, not just shaking hands before the tip-off, but also embracing each other, showing love on the court. And winning was the key to the Renaissance team's success. They won the World Professional Basketball Tournament in 1939, and in 1940, they lost to the Harlem Globetrotters. 8 years later, they finished second to the Minneapolis Lakers, who were the National Basketball League champions at the time. But more than the prowess of the team, the fact that Douglas owned the team, creating the schedule, getting the money for the team, keeping the team afloat, was what really set him apart. Because at the time, no black man had ever had the opportunity to own a major sports franchise. And this paved the way for many in the future to have that opportunity. In 1949, the Wrens were part of the National Basketball League and were relegated to Dayton, Ohio, and later folded that year as the league was being merged with the NBA, who at the time were an all-white league and wouldn't allow them to play. An unfortunate end to a historic team. It's crazy to think about how they played the Globetrotters at the time. Two historical black teams. It would have been great to see them continue their greatness together instead of only seeing the Globetrotters continue. In 1979, Bob Douglas passed away in New York, but he was always remembered for the greatness he gave to basketball in the black community, and deserved to be called a Hall of Famer. Thank you for joining us for today's Daily Sports History. We'd love to hear from you. You can contact us at dailysportshistory@gmail.com if you have ideas for episodes or want to be a part of our community. And come back tomorrow for more Daily Sports History.